Did you know that climate change can be even more devastating for developing countries than for wealthy nations? In today's video, we will understand the direct impact of climate change on countries with fragile economies and how this is shaping the future of millions of people. Today, we will explore how climate change is affecting developing countries, which already face economic and social challenges. We will understand why these nations are more vulnerable and what can be done to minimize the damage. Climate change is not just a concern for wealthy countries. The effects of global warming, such as rising temperatures, natural disasters, and changes in weather patterns, have a devastating impact on developing nations. But why are these countries so vulnerable? Climate change refers to alterations in global weather patterns that have been intensified by human action, especially through the burning of fossil fuels. This results in extreme weather events, such as droughts, floods, hurricanes, and glacier melting. The increasing frequency of hurricanes in the Caribbean and the Philippines has been a clear reflection of the impact of climate change. In the case of the Philippines, these natural disasters have caused enormous damage to infrastructure and the local economy, affecting millions of people. Developing countries are more vulnerable to climate change for several reasons, including weak economies, lack of infrastructure, and dependence on sectors like agriculture, which are highly sensitive to weather variations. In many countries, agriculture is the main source of income. When extreme weather events such as droughts and floods affect crops, local economies suffer. Countries like Kenya and Somalia, which heavily rely on agriculture, are seeing an increase in food insecurity due to climate variability. Additionally, the rise in natural disasters such as hurricanes, tsunamis, and floods causes the displacement of millions of people. Island nations like the Maldives and Tuvalu are facing the risk of total submersion due to rising sea levels, forcing millions to become climate refugees. Although awareness of climate change is growing, developing countries face serious difficulties in adapting. This is because these nations have limited resources to invest in resilient infrastructure, clean technologies, and environmental education. Environmental policy in these countries is also challenged by issues of governance and corruption. Even when adaptation plans exist, implementation is often hampered by a lack of political support and adequate funding. Furthermore, the most vulnerable populations, such as women and children, are the ones who suffer the most from the effects of climate change. Water scarcity, food insecurity, and forced displacement are just a few of the issues that make life unsustainable for millions of people. Indonesia, with its numerous islands, is experiencing an increase in natural disasters due to climate change, such as floods and earthquakes. The lack of resilient infrastructure has led to significant economic losses and population displacement. The Maldives, a small archipelago in the Indian Ocean, are threatened by rising sea levels. With an average elevation of just 1.5 meters above sea level, the entire nation could be submerged in the near future, forcing Maldivians to seek solutions to stay afloat. In sub-Saharan Africa, countries like Mozambique and Burkina Faso are facing water scarcity and prolonged droughts, making agricultural production difficult. The lack of food is resulting in increased poverty and mass migrations. To minimize the impacts, developing countries need to invest in green technologies such as renewable energy, sustainable agriculture, and the construction of resilient infrastructure. Examples like the use of solar energy in Kenya show how innovation can help these nations adapt to climate change. Moreover, international support, both financial and technical, is essential. Wealthy countries must contribute more to adaptation and mitigation efforts, as well as facilitate access to clean technologies for developing nations. As we have seen, climate change poses an increasing threat to developing countries. While these nations face unique challenges, there are solutions that can help them adapt and survive in a more unpredictable future. If you found it interesting how climate change affects developing countries, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your friends to help spread awareness. Until next time.